Hi there, my name is Elise, and in this video I will be sharing the 5 key things I learned from studying operational improvement. For each one, I'll talk about what I expected to learn, what I actually learned, and how it connects to my experience as a change manager over the past 10 years, especially now that I'm leading work on an AI program at Westpac. First thing I want to talk about is change management and forces of change. So having worked in change for almost a decade, I expected this course would pretty much confirm what I already knew about frameworks and tools for driving improvement. What I actually learned and what stood out to me is how closely operational improvement theory and change management practice are connected. Kotter's 8-step change model formalized many things I've seen in practice, including urgency, sponsorship, and celebrating wins, but putting them into a structure I can actually draw on when coaching leaders. So over the years, I've seen technically strong solutions stall purely because the people side was neglected. So this really reinforced what I know from experience. A current example is our AI virtual agent rollout at Westpac. In week 1 for our lenders, usage was high, but it dropped by half the next week because there hadn't been enough change support and the business just wanted to drive this in as soon as possible. With my background, I could immediately recognize this as a classic case of skipping over the Kotter's steps. So we're now going back, we're building the urgency, we're creating change champions, and we're involving them in the drive in adoption, and we're embedding reinforcement. This basically confirmed that my 10 years of experience aren't just soft skills, they're central to operational improvement. Theories like Kotter's 8-step model helps me frame and justify what I've always known, and that is that technology only succeeds when people come to the party. The next thing I want to talk about is digitalization as an enabler. So I thought digitalization would just mean automating tasks and streamlining systems. I've led digital change for years, but the course helped me actually see digitalization through an operational improvement lens. During my time at iCare, I saw how fragmented systems slowed claims, and integration through APIs and dashboards actually created transparency and improved operational efficiency. This linked to Hill's Order Winners and Qualifiers framework, which shows how trust and transparency become the value drivers for service organizations. That explained the patterns I'd seen at work, where employees felt more empowered and customers felt more confident when the systems talked to each other. At Westpac now, I've worked on multiple digital transformations. The AI virtual agent is a clear example. It only adds value if it connects across systems and it removes effort for staff. We're now exploring how generative AI and agentic solutions can automate steps across systems and provide that real-time visibility. Upon reflection, digitalization in my experience isn't about the tech itself. It's actually about designing ecosystems that support people. The course helped me put academic language to what I've observed in practice for years, and that is that integration drives adoption and trust. The next learning was around business process re-engineering. So with my background again, I assumed process improvement was mostly about making those little incremental tweaks. What I learned was that BPR reminded me to step back and question the process itself. Hammer and Champy showed that sometimes real improvement comes from a clean slate redesign and starting from scratch. From my time in iCare, this was more relevant during my assignment where research in government settings showed the same, and that is that business process reengineering can strip away duplication and improve services. This connected strongly to situations I've seen where organizers keep adding fixes until the process is harder to follow than before. In my time in the AI program at Westpac, I've been pushing us to ask, should this process exist in its current form at all? So instead of just layering AI on top, we're exploring how generative AI and agentic solutions could completely redesign end-to-end flows. And this matches the newer thinking in business process design from Jane et al. That focuses on iterative, collaborative redesigns. So upon reflection, having delivered change in many environments, this gave me the confidence to not only tweak at the edges, but to advocate for bold redesigns, which is grounded in both theory and experience. Next, I wanted to discuss knowledge management. So from my past projects, I just assumed that knowledge management was about storing documents and making them searchable. But the theory helps me see that knowledge management is more strategic than that. So authors like Nanaka and Takuchi and Davenport and Prusak emphasize that KM isn't just storage. It's actually about creating systems where knowledge is captured, shared, and applied. In my eye care work, I saw how poor KM meant lessons were constantly relearned. And I can see in Westpac how poor KM management and how inefficient KM systems can actually impact workers' efficiency. And that also lined up with my own career experience, because I've actually watched projects lose momentum because key knowledge left with staff. At Westpac, I'm leading the rollout of the AL Virtual Agent, as I mentioned, which pulls from procedures and policy documents to provide fast and accurate answers. And this actually brought KM to life. It turns static content into knowledge that people can apply instantly. Upon reflection with my background, I've always valued knowledge sharing. The course helped me anchor that in theory and gave me the tools to explain why KM is critical to sustainable change. Finally, I wanted to talk about balancing short-term versus long-term improvement. So with my years in delivery, I've often been focused on quick wins to show progress and to win over stakeholders. What I learned from this course is that it made me step back and reflect on how often organizations sacrifice the long-term. At iCare, for example, we observed that long-term initiatives were frequently pushed aside for immediate reforms, and that affected the business. Theories on continuous improvement and lean highlighted the balance where celebrating small wins while also protecting long transformation is so effective for organizations. And I felt that this connected to my own frustrations in projects where strategic work was frequently dropped for urgent fixes. In the AI program I'm working in now, there's strong pressure to showcase those shiny use cases to get people excited and to get them to buy in. But with my experience, I've been able to push for a balance. Yes, we'll deliver the quick demos, but we'll also protect foundational work like governance, training, and data readiness, because those are what will allow us to scale into generative AI and agentic solutions sustainably. After nearly 10 years in change, I know quick wins are vital for engagement, but the course helped me see and explain why long-term thinking is just as critical. So I now design roadmaps that balance both that long-term strategy and that short-term implementation solution. Overall, looking back, these 5 lessons gave me both theory and language to deepen what I've built through almost a decade in change management. Kotter's model confirms what I've seen in practice about leading people through change. Order winners and qualifiers explained why digitalization drives trust and value. Business process reengineering encouraged me to step back and redesign whole processes in the appropriate context, not just patch fix them. Knowledge management validated the importance of knowledge continuity, which I've always known from experience. And lean and continuous improvement reinforced that need to balance the wins now with lasting transformation. As a change manager, I now see my role as not just guiding people, but embedding improvements so they last. And as someone leading AI work, I can see how theory and experience combine to create sustainable, people-centered digital transformation. In short, this course hasn't just taught me new theories. It's given me a framework to explain and strengthen what I've been practicing for nearly 10 years. It's helped me challenge processes with more confidence, design with people in mind, and protect improvements so they last beyond the short term. Thank you.